So there are hopeful signs. South Africa may be through the worst of the third wave. And of course, we're seeing vaccinations increasing. The Delta variant, though, is causing cases to spike in the USA. And while many of us excited to finally be getting our jabs, in the USA, there's a large proportion of people who don't want to be vaccinated. And now the country is seeing COVID deaths primarily among those who won't have the jab. Let's discuss this now with our correspondent, Denselow in New York. Hi there, Will. So talk to us about what is going on with COVID infections and death rates in the USA at the moment.
Well, as far as the United States is concerned, COVID-19 cases very much trending in the wrong direction. According to some estimates, cases tripling in just a couple of weeks. It's estimated that around 80% of those new infections are caused by this highly infectious Delta variant. Now, just to put that into perspective in terms of numbers, at the moment we're seeing around 37,000 new COVID-19 cases every single day. That according to a 7-day moving average. Putting that into more perspective, on July 6th, that figure was down at just 14,000 cases per day, according to analysis from Johns Hopkins University. And this certainly isn't seen across the United States, although hospitalizations are rising across 45 of the 50 United States. But according to White House officials, they say that 40% of new cases being seen in the United States are taking place in just 3 states: Florida, Texas, Missouri. Those states all have vaccination rates that are below the national average.
And what is the national average of vaccinations? Because I understand it has slowed since April, and vaccinations are open to anyone over the age of 12.
That's absolutely right, Sally, and vaccination rates have slowed dramatically. It's estimated that 56% of the US adult population has received at least one COVID-19 vaccine shot. But talking about the vaccination rate, well, in April to today, it has declined those daily vaccination rates by some 75%. So a dramatic decrease in the amount of people taking those COVID-19 shots, even though they are being rolled out across the United States and had been available for months now. We're now seeing more lawmakers across these states, particularly in these states that are seeing lower vaccination rates, imploring members of the population to go get those COVID-19 vaccine shots. If we look at some of the rates of vaccinations in some states, look at Texas, for example, just 43% of adults in that state are fully vaccinated. In Alabama, that figure is closer to 30%. Compare that to here in New York City, where that rate is around the 65% mark. That just shows the huge variation when it comes to the amount of people that have had a shot. But certainly across the United States, the message is that if you haven't had a vaccine shot, you should absolutely go and get one.
And certainly we've seen in the United Kingdom that while they have spikes in infection, because they've got a high vaccination rate, the deaths are really low. So you will get an infection. You may get COVID after being vaccinated, but you will not die, is the message. So talk to me about those that are dying from COVID in the USA. Are they all unvaccinated?
Well, the message is that overwhelmingly the data suggests that if you have not been vaccinated, your chances of severe infection or death are exponentially higher than if you have been vaccinated. Of course, it does not mean that if you have received, if you are fully vaccinated, you are 100% protected, that you can act with impunity with regards to the pandemic, especially with the prevalence of the Delta variant. But the message from the scientific community is that your chances of getting incredibly sick are diminished if you are fully inoculated. That means, I mean, of course, we've seen at the White House, for example, some cases of COVID-19 infections, even those that have been infected. There have been reports of people being hospitalized if you have had both COVID-19 shots, if you've been fully vaccinated. But the scientific community is very clear. The data is overwhelming when it comes to the chance of death or severe infection if you haven't received your vaccine.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that update from the United States. That's our correspondent in New York, Denselow there.